I know y'all hoes got some extra money. You don't got that stimulus check and getting that extra 600 from the federal government and unemployment. Drop down in the description box and get some of this NutriBurst and some of this CBD. It will change your life and maybe even help you get your man back the way Issa got Lawrence. Catch these teas. Better yet, buy these teas. Lord, they don't added this new lady to marry to Madison, LA, Lia Dias. We don't know where the hell she came from, why the hell she talking, who the hell she is. But while I sip my vodka, I got the tea. Wanna hear about it? Here you go. Go. What up, y'all? It's the dog, Miss Funkydineva Ross, and I've got on the line, married to Medicine, LA newbie, Miss Lia Dias. What's going on, Lia?
Is that my phone? Of course.
That's my child. You know, this the ghetto CNN over here, honey.
What is going on?
Ain't nothing much. So, Lia, we keep it real laid back over here. I got my little vodka and lime juice over here. And the first thing that people want to know,
How to get my champagne? I need something.
you all go on and get your little champagne. Tell her bring it to you. But the first thing that people want to know, because the show just did not introduce you right. Who the hell are you and where did you come from?
That's why, okay. So I'm not gonna lie. I was a little disappointed when I saw Amani's friend. You know what I'm saying? I'm a full cast member. I filmed just like everybody else. I participate just like everybody else. So that was weird to me that I'm still like episode 5. I'm still Amani's friend. I am her friend. We are home.
Right.
That is weird. So I don't know. Production makes their own decisions. But my husband and Amani work together. They've known each other for years. And so been my friend, a family friend. I actually watched the show last year because she was on it. And so I got introduced to the opportunity. I jumped on it because, I've kind of known these girls, not personally, but, a friend of a friend through Amani.
Right.
So it just was kind of like a natural fit. So, they got me at the party just interjected. I'm like, I always got to say, always talking. So I don't know why it was to the viewers, I get why it's a big deal. It's like, where did this girl come from? But I've kind of always been in this circle.
And it's weird because I did on one of my videos, I don't know if you've seen it, I'm going off on you. I'm like, girl, shut up. You the damn home girl. You the +1. Why is you even talking? Why is you even in the scene? And the people had to drop that in my comments and was like, no, Dineva, she is one of the newest cast members. And I'm like, well, shit, somebody need to say something. Because I'm like, Imani need to get her big mouth ass friend and tell her go get a drink or something while she work. But it's good to know. We are glad to have you. And actually, when I did some research and whatnot on you, I was like, okay, she's somebody. She kind of got it going on. But let me ask you this: 5 episodes in, we haven't even seen your husband yet. Will we?
Well, I will say this. My husband's he works with Amani. However, there were contractual issues.
Okay.
My husband was filming a big documentary for PBS at the time. And so his stuff came first. He was working on it for 7 years. So you don't see him like you see some of the other husbands, but he's around. He's downstairs right now watching our kids. He's no secret.
Okay. So let me ask you. Okay, so let me ask you a question. On that note, because a lot of the other girls on Bravo, the Atlanta girls, they've caught a lot of flack, a lot of backlash about not showing their private lives, their personal lives. And it seems like the LA girls, you and Jasmine, y'all are kind of getting away with not having to show the ins and outs of your family. Do you feel that's fair?
Yeah, well, so I don't think it's that I don't show it. I can't speak for Jasmine. It's up to production how they cut it. You know what I'm saying? Like, production knows my husband. My castmates know my husband. Production knows my children. And so I just feel like, we kind of get the short end of the stick because we're not involved with how they cut it. So nothing in my life is a secret. My kids were game. We all were participants of it. But like I said, like I don't see the show until it's cut. So I don't know what they decide to put in there. So
And that's fair. So thus far, what are your thoughts on participating in reality TV? Like how have you been received? What's going through your mind?
yeah, I mean, I feel like the biggest thing for me is that people don't know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's been good. I'm not going to complain about it. It's been great for my business. People have been really supportive of my brands and everything that I do. So that's been great. But like, you know, when you go on Twitter and Instagram, everybody's like, who's the homegirl? And it's like,
Right.
we 5 episodes in. Y'all don't know that I live in Beverly Hills. You don't know that I work, that I have
Right.
all this stuff going on.
Mhm.
So I get why the fans are feeling like I'm not, you know, committed to the show.
Yeah, and it's funny because prior to this interview, of course, I did my homework. I went on Bravo's website to see what their bio of you was, and she had a 90210 address. I'm like, oh, she could be one of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and I'm just like, why aren't they telling us this? Why aren't they showing us this? Because it seems to be so much more to this girl than just the homegirl that's showing up to the party that's
Right.
getting into it with Shanique.
Right. As
you
if
know,
I didn't know Shanique before. Like I just showed up at the party just fighting with her. Right.
because that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. So speaking of Shanique, and that is a perfect segue. The show seems to be zeroing in on you and this petty ass drama with Shanique. What is the problem? What is the real problem?
So Shanique and I are working on our friendship, right?
Okay.
So we were cool before cameras started rolling. We had some hiccups, right? You know how things change when the cameras turn on.
Mm-hmm.
So we had some hiccups in the beginning. But I've always liked her. Like, let's be clear, I've always liked her. My husband and Robert, her husband, get along well. Like I said,
Mm-hmm.
she invited us over this weekend to our house because she wanted to
Okay.
just like
Good.
make sure that we were getting on a new page and not just for TV, right? Just because I like her. She was my friend before we started filming, so I want to
Mm-hmm.
keep the relationship. Um, and I think that she values the friendship too. I just think that I was new to being on camera.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that she came with a lot of experience. And so some things that she did, I took it really personal.
Right.
There's
When it
no
was
way for me to put
her,
it. I'm like,
when
girl,
it
why
was
are you
her
talking to me
working.
like that? Or why are you
Right.
not understanding that she was basically somebody that had gone through this process before? And I'm looking for my homegirl, Shanique, but she's
Right.
coming to this
As
as
co-worker Shanique. Understood. So Leah, fill us in on what you said about that lady outfit, because the shit was ugly, right? like the outfit was a mess. The outfit was a mess. But listen, I had your back with the outfit, and in my videos, I was like, she said something about that lady outfit. However, it was a girlfriend Kiki. It was like, child, you seen what she had on. I don't think you
exactly.
were being malicious.
Exactly. Just like they kikied about me having my boob out, right? So
Uh-huh.
we talks about each other. So
Right.
that's okay. So when we talk about homegirl Shanique and TV Shanique, so when
Uh-huh.
Shanique gets on TV and says, we don't talk about our friends in this group, I'm like, bitch, you lie. We talk
Uh-huh.
about each other all the time. So yes, it was after work. Shanique was at work. I had finished work. We was downtown kikiing, laughing it up at happy hour. And so we were on Instagram and I said, girl, who is this fighter pilot talking about Kendra and
Right.
joking over
Right.
cocktails like you would with your friends
Right.
on a drink.
Right.
But it had nothing to do with body shaming her.
Right.
Like I make it very clear, like I struggle with my weight. I lost weight for the show.
Right.
Okay.
As they all do.
As we all do. So I'm not like, you know, this perfect skinny girl. So I was never shaming her size. I was shaming the outfit, just like we all do.
Right. And it was just funny though, because the scene was uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable for you, obviously, and it was uncomfortable for us as the viewer, because it's like she pulled it out of nowhere. You sitting in this lady house. She done told this lady you was talking about her. You don't want to argue in this lady house because that's just not what you do.
She
And
got
it
her
was
mama
just,
and her daddy there, everybody.
right. I'm not gonna cuss you out and fight you in this lady house. And so you were just stuck there, like looking all kinds of uncomfortable. And don't get me wrong, it made for great television. But I am glad that Kendra was able to see it for what it was, and that y'all were able to sit down and whatever.
Right.
So let me ask you this. Coming into the show, was there anybody that you were expecting to not get along with?
No, not really. I did. So that was part of like my issue coming in and why I had such a rocky road. Like, I'm ultra bubbly. I like to drink. I like to just be, I'm an outward person. So I came in and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be liked by everybody. And that wasn't the case. I thought I was gonna be well received by the wives. I thought I was gonna be like Shanique and Jasmine. I thought we were gonna be 3 peas in a pod, but it didn't work out like that. So I didn't come in with, I came in thinking we were all friends. Honestly.
Is there anyone that you've gotten particularly close to that you did not see coming?
Kendra,
really?
So Kendra and I, we met before we started filming and we were cool. But I think being new to this, we have a bond. And then I think she genuinely heard me out when I explained to her where, that can come from being spirited. You don't know somebody and then you finding out they're talking about you in national television
and while sitting in your house.
Exactly. Right. So I appreciate that she gave me an opportunity to hear me out outside of the camera. Just like, let me explain to you where this came from so you don't. And she did. She opened up her mind, her heart to my apologies. She understood me. And now she just texted me this morning talking about, what's up with you? I haven't talked to you. She checks in with me. And so it feels genuine.
Good. So let's get messy for a minute.
Let's go.
It's about 3 of these heifers on here that's about to lose their man or act like they don't want their man or their mans don't want them. So I want your opinion on 3 people. We're going to start with your homegirl. What are your thoughts on Imani and her husband living separate for a prolonged period of time? What are your thoughts?
I thought it was weird when she told me. I didn't press her about it because I felt like it was her business and she was going to tell me when it was time. But I was like, that doesn't even make sense. Like my husband goes out of town for a few days and I'm like, so when you coming back? Like I couldn't imagine 3 months. So I do think that they got comfortable living separate lives though. And so that 3 months away was not a big deal to them because they were living in the same house, but living separately anyway. They was doing, they weren't connected.
Anyway. Britain trading in her husband for her son. What are your thoughts on that?
Like my son is 3 and my daughter is 4. So I have little ones. So we let them think they sleeping in the bed with us at night. But the minute they eyes closed, they are put in their beds. So no way, no kid, no, there's nothing more. I'm like, yo, man. And let's be real, Britain's husband is fine. Like he is good looking.
It's all hell. It's all hell. The people say Britain don't even want that husband that she won't contest her. But I'm just telling you, what listen, I'm just telling you what the people said. I don't make the news, I just report it. But what threw me about watching, I watched last Sunday's episode last night. It wasn't so much that her 6-year-old was in the bed with her, because I think that's cute. I think it's great that her mother has that bond. It was when she said she had no interest in him leaving. She was like, I like him be there. And I found it just a tad bit troubling. And don't get me wrong. Of course, a mother's going to have a bond with her child, but I found it troubling that your desire for your husband did not trump your desire for your child to be latched to the hip. It feels like trouble in paradise. And the thing about it, Brittany, is whatever you want to do with that man, it's a whole bunch of bitches with no morals like me who will. So
y'all ain't in Orlando no more. They here in LA. It's like big girl. They ready.
Right. And he's fine. And he's got a coin and good credit and nice teeth. And he look like he smell good. And he's manly and all the rest of those things. Listen, it's hard out here. Listen, I've been single for 11 years. It is hard out here. You better act right. What are your thoughts also? And this is, I also want to pose this question to you. We see Shanique trying to branch out and do more things in business, and her husband seems to be hell-bent on keeping her in a box that's comfortable for him. How do you balance being the busy entrepreneur you are and then taking care of your household, your husband, and your children? Does it cause issues in your household?
Yeah, it does naturally because I'm ambitious, husband's ambitious, but we have 3 kids, right? So
Mm-hmm.
there's always like this battle of who's gonna go pick them up today. Well, I'm working, so you know what I mean. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
always something. But I think what's different, and I hate to say this, but I feel like Robert doesn't give. He
Mm-hmm.
Shanique is a sacrificer. Like she is working and she doesn't have just, a regular 9 to 5. She has a whole team of people that are responsible, that she's responsible for. So when I watch that, it makes me cringe because I'm this lady is smart. She sacrificed her career while he was in medical school. And to kind of see him not kind of reciprocate bothers me a lot. The only reason I'm able to have 3 stores and a juice bar and a consulting company is because my husband lets me be. Like he lets me go do my thing when I say I have to go do my thing. Like today, I wanted the day off. And I'm about to get up. I wanted the morning off. I'm about to get up and leave him here with these kids so I can go take care of my stores. He's not going to fight me when it's time for me to leave. He's going to say, just please make sure you bring home dinner. It's like a give and take.
It is. It has to be.
It has to, especially compared to somebody that's ambitious. You, he knows who he married. He knows that he married somebody that wants to sit at home and cook and clean all day. So don't act like now she can't go get it. That's who you married.
Do you think sometimes the men, particularly the black men, get caught up in the ego of being doctors?
I don't know if it's ego, but I think it's they become accustomed to being taken care of and then being the center of it. Like I had to go with my husband. Like I'm not gonna only just be here to cater to you all the time. Like there's things I want to, and we established that when we first got married. So now 7 years in, he knows that it's not even a conversation anymore. So I think Shanique's marriage and the way it's set up, she has been the caterer, the nurturer. And so when he feels like that is threatened,
Right. He gets uncomfortable.
absolutely.
Makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. So let's shift to your businesses real quickly. How long have you been in business? How did you even get into the beauty business? And particularly considering that LA as a whole has this reputation of the Asians being in charge of the not just LA, the US has this reputation. So how is it Miss Little Black Woman from wherever the hell you came from now has these 3 big successful beauty chains?
Yeah, I think breaking into it wasn't easy. Like I broke Cave LA, and so we have a store in Inglewood, Compton, in South Los Angeles. And so for me, I have the gift of gab. I knew how to go in and talk my way through certain situations. And then it's capital too. You got to have money. Like I tell girls that want to get in this industry all the time, like Asian people don't do business with us because they don't like us. They don't know if we're going to pay. They don't interact with us. So they have like this thing about not being they think we're not trustworthy. So it took me about a year to build my relationships with my vendors and paying them early, right? If I had a bill that was due in 30 days, I paid it in 5 days because I wanted to show them like I am a trusted person. And now it's just I get the red card, right? So it was just a lot of sister's an attorney, so we had to put in a lot of work with putting in demand letters, but it was just chipping away at it.
So speaking of capital, which definitely is a roadblock to a lot of people starting businesses because they've got the ideas, they've got the work ethic, they don't have the money. If you don't mind me asking, how did you come up with the capital? Was it because you had a husband of means, or did you work and save? Like, how did you come up with the capital?
Yeah, so my husband was not in agreement with me quitting my job and starting this business in the beginning. Now he loves it. Now he's like, yes, Team Girl Cave. But when I started, I was working for Children's Services. I was working on my master's in social work. That's like what I've been doing for almost 7 years. And so when I realized I wanted to leave, I just started working more and just saving my money. But I don't want people to get it twisted. Like I did start my business on my own, but had I not had my husband's income to take care of the overhead, I wouldn't have been able to, put aside my side money. You know what I mean? So he didn't invest in my business. He didn't think it was a good idea, but he did take care of our household. So I did have a work and save to start the business.
So with that being said, do you see a lot of parallels between, I guess, let me back up. Jasmine has been painted as the character. She's the blonde. She's the ditzy one. But on this last episode, she said something that was so profound to me when she said, "He not gonna support you in the beginning." And she was like, "That's just how they do. He don't see it." But she was like, "As your friend, I'm going to support you." And I had to take a step back, and I said, "You know what? For everything that girl don't know worldly, she damn sure got men down pat." And it sounds as if that, that was kind of your story as well. So, do you see parallels between your start and the transition that Shanique is trying to make?
Yeah, and that's why when we had the cookout this weekend, that's a lot what we talked about. Mm-hmm. Like, just not like I had to prove myself, not just to everybody else, but I had to prove it to my household. My husband, he's like, okay, so you working, you making good money, and you just gonna quit to sell wigs? Like,
right. He said he marginalized you just to sell wigs.
Right. Exactly.
Not knowing that the beauty business is like one of the largest.
It's the biggest industry that you could think of, honestly. Mm-hmm. It's huge. And so he gets it now and he's supportive now, but that first year was not. And I was losing my first year too. Mm-hmm. But he was like, so you getting ready to go back to work, right? Like, mm-hmm. You're not about to sit here and keep losing money. So yeah, it is the same. But I think what I wish Shanique could understand is that you just got to do it anyway, right? You can't wait for somebody's stamp of approval, because I've been in this game for 6 years. I still have people that don't believe in it, right? Like, you're not really making all kind of money selling wigs. You know what I'm saying? Like, people in my family, like, people still don't trust that I'm doing good business or legitimate business. So you always gonna have people that are not on your side. So
what does it do for your esteem and your confidence when the people who are closest to you, who for all intents and purposes are supposed to fortify you, don't necessarily believe in you? What does that do for you?
Oh my God. It means everything. It means when my husband comes home and he's like, oh, we need to take care of the bills. I'm like, oh, I paid them. Don't worry about that.
Uh-huh.
You paid yeah, I did. Don't worry about it. And it's like, I saw my mom do it. I saw my grandma do it. And so I want my daughters to see me do it. You know what I mean? So it means everything. And even my employees, like, I don't pay anybody for me minimum wage. Like, if you come to me, you're going to get paid something so you could go out here and have an apartment, and have your own car. Like, I don't want people working for me feeling like they can't have their own. Like, whatever I can afford you, I'm going to pay you if you're doing a good job. And so not just me money, but me empowering 20 other people money too. Every got their paychecks and they're pulling off in their cars and they come tell me, oh, Miss Lee, I brought a car. That means everything to me. Oh, Miss Lee, I got my apartment. Absolutely, girl, go do it. So that is the validation I love. It's a little bit about my husband, but more about seeing these Black girls win.
Well, it's glad to know that you pay them a living wage, because if not, they was gonna steal your shit and sell it anyway. It make a living wage. Like I always say, you gonna pay on the front end or the back end, but you gonna pay. So listen, I'm not gonna hold you too much longer, but we're gonna talk about really quickly. Let's just get into, like we talked about the relationships between the Asians and the Black people and the racial climate that we're in right now. I hope not, but has your business experienced any damage or losses with everything that's going on riot-wise?
You know what's so crazy? I was a young kid when the riots happened, the Rodney King riots, right? The hood was torn up. The hood is untouched right now.
Okay.
They're not in Inglewood. They're not in South LA. They're in Santa Monica, Beverly Hills. So
the niggas don't learn. Tell they shit, not ours. Let me tell you something. I was saying to myself, because with this whole riot situation, I don't know what to feel, but I do feel like these young kids got it. I'm just like, whatever they doing, and I don't understand it all.
Right.
But I'm just like, you know what? I'm with y'all. It might not make sense. I'm with y'all. Down here in Miami, I joined an organization to help bail folks out. I'm like, there's just something that they're doing. They got it. Yep. You know what I'm saying? They realize we're going to tear some shit up, but this time we're not tearing our shit up. We're going to tear their shit up. And y'all gonna hear us this time. We not y'all shit gonna look like the hood, goddamn it. And I hate to say this, and I probably shouldn't say it publicly, but I love it.
So I was at my stores. I drove through Inglewood, and it was quiet. I was in the car with my sister. I said, Inglewood ain't never been this quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Right on up Wilshire and got to Rodeo, and the Gucci store was tore up. YSL had been ran through. I'm like, what is going on? It was, they just want to be heard. And that's what they know, that they're not going to be heard tearing up their neighborhoods, because that's happening. They know that in order to get the establishment's attention, you got to come to the West Side. You got to come where people are listening, are paying attention. And so I'm not here for destruction, but I am here for people being heard. And when you get suppressed so long, you can't tell people how to get that out.
I agree. So with that being said, looking at the current platform that you've garnered, Married to Medicine LA, what, if any, do you feel is the social responsibility that people like you who share that platform have?
I think that we have an obligation, we have a responsibility, not just to say things on our social media, right? Because that's easy for me to sit from the bedroom in Beverly Hills and tweet something. But we need to actually do the work. Like, we need to, like you said, donate to these organizations that are on the front lines. If you can, like, I get it, they're physicians, they have to work. They're in the midst of a pandemic. But it's nothing for us to, drop $1,000 to an organization. You know what I'm saying? Support someone else's organization on our platform, right? Like, I saw this whole blackout thing online, and I'm like, well, that's cute and that's cool, but what can I actually help? Me posting on my social media does nothing to help the cause at all. What's going to help is me donating, me making sure that the protesters have water, have whatever they need. So my daughter, she's 16. She goes to a high school here, and her friends are actually coming up later because they want to plan some things. And I told the parents, like, whatever these girls want to do, like, we need to fund it. And so that's like the commitment that I feel like we need to have. We can't just talk about it on Instagram. We got to be about it.
Leah, I'm going to say something. In talking to you, excuse me, I really like you.
Oh, thank you.
I really like you, and I think that this interview, I think the fans are really going to like you as well. I think thus far through the editing process, the show has done you a huge disservice, but you've always got Funkydineva and the Funky Bunch to help expose that other side of you. You can always use my platform anytime you want. I really think that after this interview, people are really going to see another side of you that they don't see on this show. Something other than you arguing with Shanique over something so goddamn petty, or whatever the case may be. In closing, is there anything that you want to share with the people?
No, I mean, I think I shared it all, but honestly, in these times, I just want us to be intentional about how we move, right? Like, I love all of the finer things. I love Chanel, I love YSL, all of that stuff. But right now, like, that kind of stuff is not important. Like, we need to be mindful about how our money, and then the example that we're setting for, like my daughter, like the under us. So it just, just be mindful, be intentional. Everything is not about like just showing off, and sometimes it's about really like showing up and doing the work.
Indeed. Well, Funky Bunch, YouTube world, everybody out there, y'all got it from the horse's mouth itself. The new bitch on Married to Medicine LA that we didn't know where the fuck she came from and why the hell she was talking. Leah, tell the people where they can find you across social media.
Yes, I'm on Instagram under my name, Lia, Lia, Lia B. Dias, Dias. And then you can find me at my stores, The Girl Cave LA Beauty.
There it is. Lia Dias, thank you so much for your time, baby. And hopefully we will talk again soon.
Absolutely.
Be good, baby. Have a good day. Bye-bye.